Welcome back to the Valicites podcast, where strategy meets finance and today's leaders rethink how to scale with clarity in a global economy. Today's guest knows the power of cross-border strategy better than most. Alice Fu is a global payments expert, a commercial real estate investor, and a powerhouse in the financial space and passionate advocate for empowering underrepresented entrepreneurs. She's the national account manager at Corpay, a global leader in cross-border payments, and has spent over a decade bridging financial services, software, and private equity. She's also lived the entrepreneur grind herself, operating a real estate portfolio in Toronto and supporting women-owned businesses through Coralus, previously known as, and you know it, SheEO. In this episode, we dive into how businesses can rethink FX and global cash management. And if you don't know what FX means, it's foreign exchange. For all of you out there, that this is going to be new for some. How to protect your margins in a volatile global economy, the rise of platforms like Corpay and automating and scaling global finance, and what business leaders often miss when expanding internationally. Whether you're a CFO, an operator, or a founder, this one is packed with real talk about scaling smarter, not harder. Alice, so excited. Welcome to the Valicites podcast.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's so good to have you on. I know we've been chatting back and forth, and I've been following you for quite some time. I've always appreciated not only just the work ethic and just what you've been up to in the professional finance world, but we also get an insight to your personal life a little bit on LinkedIn, and I've just always appreciated that about you. There's an authenticity to it, and I appreciate it. So thank you for coming on.
No, that's great.
Well, let's get into it. What drew you to specialize in cross-border payments and foreign exchange strategy?
Yeah, so when I first was introduced to foreign exchange, I was actually working for a software startup. So it was a startup that was based in Toronto, and we had US clients, and we had payroll in Europe. Once I did the math on how much we were losing in FX, that's when I got excited about the opportunity in foreign exchange. And so I've been in the payments industry for about a decade now, and it's great to interact with clients across different verticals. So we're heavy into sports, entertainment, manufacturing, technology companies. It's really exciting to get in front of these clients and help them solution some of their payments challenges.
I love it. So you were in a different business, you saw the opportunity and you jumped right in. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there as they're working for different startups or maybe a mature organization that have visibility to some of those pain points. What made you say, hey, this is something I'm going to go attack and I'm going to find a solution for this opportunity? What did you read something? Did you have a mentor, or is this just, you typically get that itch and you go after it?
No, I really just wanted to dig a bit deeper in terms of how much money we were losing, how we weren't really protecting our bottom line when it came to our exposure. And so the foreign currency exposure at that point was dollar CAD and dollar euro. And so we were heavily impacted.
I love it. And what have you enjoyed most? You said sports and entertainment. There's a lot going on. Obviously, I think of, as you were talking about sports, and I'm thinking growth, the WNBA is just on fire, NCAA across both sides. I mean, it's sports and entertainment are huge right now. I mean, they've gotten massive, both domestically and internationally. How's that been for you?
Yeah, so I believe Corpay is the foreign provider of choice for most sports organizations. And so the strongest brands are Live Golf,
Yes,
Major League Soccer, AC Milan, a lot of the UK soccer groups as well. So it's an exciting time for us. We're essentially helping them manage all of their exposure, and some really strong Canadian brands like Cirque du Soleil.
amazing. I had an opportunity to visit Manchester recently, and I kept saying soccer. The conversations just stopped right there. I'm like, it's not soccer, it's football. I'm like, got it. I played college football, but that's not It's American football. You got to say football. And then I tell people, and I haven't shared this with you as you speak of soccer. I actually went to high school with Alex Morgan. And so I always let people know. My nieces love that. So I always bring it up. That's awesome that you get to spend time in those industries and they continue to grow. It's so amazing. And I love, yes, I know a lot about Corpay, and you all are the preferred partner there. So it's amazing to know that you're behind the scenes and you're helping them grow. What what are the most common mistakes business owners make when they're managing global payments? What have you learned there? I'm sure there's a lot out there that either are doing business internationally or even thinking about expanding internationally. What are some of the things though watch out for that you've seen or mistakes that business owners have made?
Yeah, especially smaller businesses, medium-sized businesses, they're typically super focused on generating revenue. And so they'll overlook the FX component. So the companies don't really realize how much rate fluctuations and hidden fees can eat into their bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can only imagine as you're building out for those that are thinking about expanding internationally, as you're modeling that out and forecasting that out, that FX piece, that foreign exchange piece is so critical, right? It's not the same as you would experience or model out domestically. And I'd imagine that is a challenge, right? As you're thinking about it and just doing some deep research into whatever country and part of the country too that you're looking to explore and expand your business footprint. How do you help finance leaders? How do you help CFOs protect that margin when you have those fluctuations of exchange rates? How does that work on your end?
Yeah, so we essentially map out the company's foreign currency exposure and we help put together a hedging strategy, which is essentially forward contracts. So we would help lock in key exchange rates for up to 12 months. So let's say, a European-based company has exposure to US dollar. They're expecting an invoice in US dollar, but the due date is about 90 days out. Whatever rate they had in mind in terms of how much euro they're going to get for that US dollar transaction, it might have moved, up to 5 percentage points in that range. And so what we do is we essentially help our clients hedge that risk. And so some of our clients would say, I'm risk adverse and hedge 0% of their exposure. And some of them would say, I'm risk adverse and hedge 100% of their exposure. So
Got it.
it really just depends on perspective. A lot of our clients land somewhere in the middle. So we really help them manage their risk, manage their bottom lines.
And I'd imagine you have some clients that be just such a pain like me, where I'm like, show me it all. I want the sensitivity model, like 10 levels deep. I want to see what if this happens, what if that happens, what happens to my bottom line. I'd imagine you get some of that too, right?
Yep.
I love it. Well, what industries? I know you mentioned sports and entertainment, but are there any other industries that are hot right now that you're seeing from all the data that you all are gathering and all the clients that you all support that are being most impacted by the FX risks today?
Yeah, manufacturing is huge.
Mm,
Import, export in terms of food products. We're also heavy into the entertainment world. And so imagine a production company that sits here in the US, if they have production fees overseas or if they're filming overseas, then we're essentially helping them repatriate those costs as well.
that makes sense. And you brought up manufacturing. There's obviously a lot of noise going on with the tariff impacts but I say potential tariff impacts because it seems like everything changes or gets postponed. Although there was something at the time of this, something fairly strict, or I guess absolute in a sense for now. How has that impacted all of this as you model it out, as you're helping your clients out? How does some of the tariff exposure impact how you're baking this all out?
Yeah, so we have a chief market strategist that's all over CNN and Bloomberg, and he essentially puts out daily reports in terms of what's going on. Our team obviously is a front line, so we're constantly monitoring all the news alerts, all the announcements, and so we try to help guide our clients as best we can, given the
Yeah, and
atmosphere.
the public, I can't wait. And I know a lot of people listening today are gonna hear that and get over there and start reading some of the things that your partner's putting out there. That's amazing. I had no clue, so I'll be doing the same because I know there's a lot going on. I too spend time here domestically and internationally, and it's important to know these things. Not only the tariff exposure, but to what we were chatting about earlier around the foreign exchange risks to the bottom line. So that's good. What do you think? What do you think growing U.S. brands should know? What type of homework should they be doing around all of this, and as they're thinking about expanding into, let's say, Europe and Asia?
Yeah, so Corpay essentially has multi-currency accounts, and it allows countries to open locally denominated accounts in about 12 of the major currencies. And
Wow.
so if their clients are looking to pay into locally domiciled accounts in Europe, in Canada, in Australia, we can help facilitate that.
I love that. Well, this is and this topic, this question came up on LinkedIn. I like to there's a select group I like to ask, see if there's any questions out there as we have certain guests. But this one's going to be the one because there's going to be the money. There's people are going to be watching this part. You get to see currency flow. I bet you get this question a lot. Is well, Alice, where you seeing the currency go the most? Where is it flowing to right now? Are you allowed to say that?
No, no. So we do not speculate at all.
I love it.
Um,
I
yeah.
had a feeling. I had to throw it out there though, because I'm sure people are wondering. Well, you help people with the foreign exchange. I'd imagine she knows, or they know, Corpay knows, based on the data that they have on where is this currency currently flowing the most. So, no, I get it. No worries. I respect that. Well, let's switch gears because, and I was excited to chat with you about this. This is a little bit different around real estate. So you've actually operated your own real estate portfolio. How has that shaped just how you do business, and how has that gone?
Yeah. So when you're a business owner and you have to take P&L responsibility, it keeps you accountable, keeps you on your toes. You're
Mm,
essentially responsible for everything. And so in my corporate job, I'm responsible for my revenue and our targets. And so our entire team is super focused and growing in the same direction.
I love that. That's so cool. What are some of the biggest surprises that you've learned? One about yourself, but about the real estate business as you built that portfolio up.
Part of it is luck in terms of timing. We got in quite early. The real estate market at this point in time is not doing terribly well in Canada.
Mm.
And so it just depends on when you get in and if you're able to go and make a profit.
What do you think about these U.S. domestic interest rates? What's going on? There's a lot of noise in the Fed too. Any thoughts on that you could comment on?
No,
You can't. You're not allowed.
unfortunately,
No
not.
worries. No, I know there's a lot going on there, and I'm excited to see when they start to drop even more because out here in the States, for those that are international, yeah, we're seeing the same thing, right? There's a little bit of a slowdown, and we're just waiting. So it's so interesting. I mentioned it earlier. So Coralus, right, rebranded. It was previously known as SheEO. Excited to talk to you about that, and this is where you're investing in women-owned businesses. I see it on your LinkedIn as well. God, that's awesome. I'm sure that gets a lot of attention. And great job. I mean, what drives that passion?
Essentially, women led startups receive less than 2% of VC funding.
Hmm.
Male led founding teams typically receive over 80%, and then mixed race, mixed gender teams make up the difference. And so, research actually shows that women led companies deliver higher returns and are more capital efficient.
I believe it. Shoot, and have you seen as you continue to pour in there and help these women-owned businesses? Have you seen progress? Have you seen that the data has gotten better, or has it stayed the same? And we need more people like you to step up.
I think it's stayed largely the same. It's trending in the same direction, but we're still trying to make a dent.
That's really cool that you're making a dent. You really are, and man, that's awesome that you're doing that. And I think for those listening, right, and I think they should reach out to you if they're looking to make an impact that way. Because to your point, right, there's a lot of I know some people say boss ladies, women own businesses that are rock stars, and they need those opportunities. And that's so amazing that you're helping, you're supporting, you're giving back. So I hope people listening to this will step up. I want to do my research as well and see what I can do as well. So that's really cool. Well, what's been the biggest challenge still facing women in finance and entrepreneurship?
So both finance and entrepreneurship is very male dominated. It's super hard to break into the industry as a woman. And so one of the challenges is motherhood. So I have a 10 months old. Her name is Mia. And so I remember last year, essentially, I was working right up until the day I delivered. And 4 days before giving birth, I was on a live golf course hosting about 50 corporates.
My goodness.
And it was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So
Oh my goodness.
we're out there hustling.
You are hustling. No, like really, you're hustling. That's amazing. Well, I'm sure the event went well, and obviously I've seen pictures. She's beautiful. That is so exciting. What have you learned about yourself as you've become a new parent?
Patience, yeah, and being kinder to yourself, to your baby.
I
Yeah.
love that. I have an 8-year-old Jameson, and my crazy. He's the payback kid. He does it with a smile, and I love him to pieces. He's my 5-year-old Henry. And then we prayed and prayed. We're like, please just give us a girl, calm one. And that lasted for a year. She's no longer calm. We have a 2-year-old Charlotte Rose. But it's funny that you say that around just patience and being kind to yourself as parents, and obviously to your kiddos, right? It's a tough job. It might be the toughest job. But my second boy, because I think he's heard me chat with my wife about it, he's like, just we need some grace. We need some grace, Dad. Like, I love it. Grace for ourselves, grace for our kiddos. So that it's always nice to hear that stuff. They're sponges is what I'm getting at too. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, I hope you and your husband are getting rest, because I know that the first year is can be difficult. What makes Corpay different, right? Because it can become a crowded space and saturated, especially the global payments side of things. What makes Corpay different in this space of global payment providers?
Yeah, so Corpay is essentially the largest non-bank provider of foreign currency. So I know a lot of other providers are very focused on payment execution only, but we go further and we help tailor FX solutions that actually protect margins and improve visibility and reduce volatility. Also, under the parent company, there's Corpay Domestic, and so it allows us to offer a whole variety of solutions. So it's everything in one shop.
I love it. And I'd imagine, as we were discussing earlier, I mean, this has a direct impact to the bottom line. So not only how you have built the moat, Corpay has built the moat around and offers that differentiation, but trust, right? Relationship building is probably pivotal. It's so important. So how do you approach building trust with CFOs or the finance leaders and some of these business owners?
Yeah. Um, so it takes deep FX expertise, a lot of networking, reaching out to your contacts. And Corpay essentially has offices worldwide, so we're able to provide better service and also a white glove service.
Love it. The concierge of global payments. I love it. So again, not only the differentiating factors, but I appreciate and I see that as I've done my research and I've followed Corpay for quite some time. They take care of their clients, their partners. And so I appreciate you chatting through that. I'm curious, right? And this is kind of a wrench in all of it. And it was a question that came up quite a bit on LinkedIn. It was about this digital currency. And what I mean by that is the blockchain, Bitcoin, and all of that. Are you able to comment on that? Like, is that where we're going? And I'm speaking in generalities, maybe not so much around Corpay. No need to share anything around that because I'll respect that. But more so, just in general, there's just so much chatter about that on currency and what it's going to look like in the future. Is that something that you all, a sector you all play in, and is that an important part of strategy looking forward, or not so much right now?
I can't comment on that, but there are news announcements that I just posted on LinkedIn
Okay, that great timing.
regarding some of our new partnerships in that space.
I
And
love it.
so, yeah,
I
we
love
do
it. So
have
I'll
some
make
exciting
sure
partnerships.
I'm putting that in the show notes because that's exciting, and I look forward to learning more about that. Another question that came on LinkedIn as well, and it was more about you. What advice would you give your younger self just starting out in the global finance space?
Um, I guess be curious as to the why behind each transaction. We're working with small businesses and medium-sized businesses, and these are real people, and these businesses are their babies. And so we really help nurture that. We really try to understand the client's business model and what keeps them up at night. We try to build that lasting relationship as a strategic payments partner.
It's so good. Well, is there anything that you're excited about as you look to the future? Hey, maybe as a new parent and some exciting things you want to go and venture out and experience, or even professionally, Corpay and all of that?
Yeah, I feel like being part of a corporation that's constantly growing and trying to be better, and uh, being very innovative, I think it's a great place to be.
I love it. Well, I saw a recent post and I'm so jealous. I'm going to get out there to Dallas and spend time with Stefan Bermer. I saw that you all were touring the site. That was so cool. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces. And I'm just such a fan of you and everything that y'all are doing at Corpay. Just, for those listening, something to look into if you're not aware. And I'll make sure, as I mentioned, to put those links and some additional posts and some educational material in the show notes too. But this has been amazing, Alice. Thank you so much for going through this. I think a bit of a different episode because we typically don't talk about international foreign exchange, and it's so important, especially for this global economy that we are all in. So, from not even just exchange rates to equity to all your different insights, I just appreciate you for reminding us that scaling across borders, across international borders isn't just about the flow of money, as I was getting at to earlier, but building systems, right? The systems that actually will impact your bottom line. So moving with clarity, speed, and confidence is key. And obviously y'all are leading the way there. So for those listening, Alice, how can they learn more about you, about Corpay, and how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, I welcome you to connect with me on LinkedIn and visit the Corpay website.
I love it. Make sure to do that, and we'll get it in the show notes. And as always, as I mentioned at the end of these episodes, if you're a business owner or modern finance leader looking to unlock better financial visibility or simplify your finance back office or operations, reach out to us at Valsites, and you can always get a free demo at valsites.com. And so excited, Alice. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited for you. Year one, and then year two gets better, year three gets better. And then I asked my parents, do you ever stop worrying? They're like, no. I'm like, oh no, I want to stop worrying. But it's such an amazing experience, and I'm so happy for you and your family. So thank you. This has been
Thank
great
you.
having you on. Yes. And for all those out there, this has been another Valisites podcast. Again, I'm your host, Albert Ramos, and we'll see you on the next episode. Alice, thanks so much.
Thank you.